At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. Now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. And we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off the power.
This is WOMM-LP operating out of Burlington, Vermont. 105.9 The Radiator. I'm your host for this evening, Tom Proctor. It is a rocket shop, and with me tonight is the Robin Gottfried Band. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Would you like to go around and introduce yourselves first?
Yeah. I'm Robin.
Hi, I'm John. Thank you.
That's Ian back there.
that would be the drummer. Well, we usually like to kick it off with a song, so we'd like to introduce it and take it away.
Great. Thank you. I can never remember the name of the title. Oh, yeah. The titles all get blurred together. We're doing all originals tonight, and this is called The Love I Have for You. Full of dreams, this heart full of desire, despite the worn out seams, despite the folding tires. Whenever we felt sad, whenever we felt broken, when things were really bad and words were left unspoken, I just start thinking of the words I could say, all the things that I could do. Will I ever describe the love I have for you? All the songs I have sung, all the trials I've been through, never let me forget the love I have for you. Living 100,000 roads, getting creaks and feeling rusty, sloping shoulders from the load, when we were feeling cold and dusty, when the snow was piling higher and the sink was full of dishes. We'd all try to fuel the fire, and we were running out of wishes. I just started thinking of the words I could say, all the things that I could do.
right, The Love I Have for You by the Robin Gottfried Band. So you guys, we just previously mentioned 9 albums. Been going for quite a while now, collectively as a band and as a solo artist.
Primarily solo and previous ramification, yeah.
So I read that you were from New York City originally and now in Vermont. So give me a little bit of background on your history as a solo artist and how this band kind of dovetailed into that.
Well, I moved to Vermont in '78 and immediately fell in love with it. I just could not believe the level of musicianship here. And coming from New York City, it was like, okay, Vermont, but absolutely incredible. The likes of, the Kilimanjaro, Dave Grippo, and all these, Chris Peterman, just wonderful lyrical, musical players. And so I felt like I fit right in. But I've been writing songs since I was 8 years old. I've always had music. So 9 albums, working on a 10th, hopefully released sometime, maybe before Christmas, probably not till next year. I finally, after playing in a relatively successful wedding band for a number of years, like over 20 years, called the High Rollers, I decided, that disbanded, and I felt like, okay, one more time, I need to give it a shot of doing original music to see if I can take the necessary steps, see if they fall into place, and inevitably, wind up doing warm-up acts at the Flynn and the Fairgrounds and Higher Ground, and getting established as an original band, to see if we can. And of course, starting out in the clubs. And what's absolutely astonishing is that I've been able to get us in the clubs where normally people come to hear cover material, and they let us come back. We play. So it's like, wow. So that's very cool. I'm extremely grateful for these two guys to be with me. They devote a lot of time to learning these tunes, which are, as Ian likes to say, a little quirky. Mm-hmm. It's not all, just 4/4 time, and there are lots of different chord changes and phrasing. I've been influenced by Joni Mitchell and Little Feat, and they have some really interesting phrasing, and I've over time come to incorporate it in my writing. And these guys spend the time, despite their really busy lives, to spend the time to do it and get together and play it, and they just play with all their hearts. And I'm sincerely grateful. I thank them all the time. They don't get raises, so I have to thank them in my heart.
It's just as good, right, guys?
Yeah.
So you said you were performing in a wedding band for a number of years, and you're just kind of getting back out there again as an original band, or doing original pieces at least. What's different now versus when you were first doing originals in terms of the music scene in Vermont and the availability for original bands?
Well, I think that it's hard to ascertain that. You try to accept the way you are at a given point in time. So 25, 30 years ago, when I was playing in original bands in the era before the wedding band, and we were doing original material, I felt like at that time I was doing the best I could. And I think that's all we can ask of ourselves, to do the best you can at that time. Personally, I feel like my writing has gotten better, more in tune with what I think. When I hear something in my head, the emotion in my heart, I'm able to get it out better. I have a recording studio at home, so all the basic tracks are recorded at home, so I feel like I'm getting better in production and producerial skills. So as time goes on, I feel like my playing has never been better, and my singing has never been better, and I'm very grateful for that too. I've been very, very lucky in that respect as well. So I don't know if I can really answer that question, but I think the most important thing for an artist is to be sincere, is to just do it the best way you can. Hopefully it reaches people, and they react in a good way. And who knows, maybe they'll even buy the albums and come to the clubs.
The ability to buy an album is a lot easier these days, or at least the ability to distribute an album is a lot easier these days. Yeah. Have you found that you're getting more people to kind of log online and download it?
It's very difficult. That's one of the reasons we're here. Try and create a buzz.
I'm glad we can help. And tell me how you three all got together in the first place.
Well, let me start with Ian. Ian's father actually was in that wedding band, also in an original band that we played. We used to play Nectars all the time. What was it called? Good question. And Nectar hated that name because people would call and say, "Who's playing tonight?" And Nectar would say, "Good question." And I'd say, "No, really." He would come to me and say, "Why do you have to name it that?" Anyway, Ian's father, Eric, played with the band on sax. And consequently, Ian grew up listening to all my albums and the wedding band as well, structuring his playing style on what he heard growing up. So he was just the natural element to join the band. He would, yeah. So he was very conscientious as a child. And John here, was it Craigslist?
Yeah, I was just playing around in various cover bands, and I was just feeling the need to do something better, something creative, something better and original too. And I actually answered an ad that Robin had put in for a keyboard player, and the email I sent him was, "I'm not a keyboard player, but if you ever need a bass player, give me a call." I've seen Robin before, but we didn't know each other. And so I actually put an ad on Craigslist seeking out musicians who were dedicated to playing well and playing with each other and listening and communicating. And Robin saw the Craigslist ad and emailed me, not knowing that I was the one who had emailed him before.
Oh, I
about the
see.
keyboard player, because I've been playing around Vermont for probably 20 years, same as Robin.
It sounds like you've been burned before a couple of times if you have to put a Craigslist advert out specifying people who are communicative.
Well, it's just I wanted to play with people who cared.
Yeah.
Who wanted to learn the songs. I was even looking for even a cover band that was going to be high quality, and I just wanted to play with people who were good.
And all three of you are professional musicians in one sense or another, is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not, except for Ian, not supporting ourselves totally with music. I fought off a day job till I was like 50.
Okay.
And I had to bite the bullet. And yeah. So, no. John and I have full-time jobs. And
I mean, yeah, between, let's see, right now it's like 7 different bands trying to, be able to balance it all is a challenge in and of itself. But,
yeah.
I'm not just playing gigs. I'm doing recording sessions at my house. I'm doing lessons. I'm doing, different consulting for people, so subbing on Broadway sometimes, so it's trying to keep busy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to diversify.
Right.
I can't just play gigs.
Yeah.
Right. But still, I mean, being able to be a professional musician is no easy task. So,
You can't not do it.
Yes. We have a lot of musicians coming through here, and a lot of them incredibly talented, and maybe 2-3% of them actually can support themselves.
Yeah.
It's a very cutthroat business too. I mean, there are times where I have to make difficult decisions, but I always try to make the right one honestly, and do the best I can. There have been times where I get double booked, for example, and the great thing about Burlington is there's so many great players.
Yeah, really, it's
that
true.
I can call a friend being like, "Hey, I messed up. Can you help me out and go play this swing gig?
Yeah.
I'll take care of you." And they'll go help me out, and I can, so it's a wonderful community in that we all go to bat for each other as well.
Burlington really does have an exceptional music community. It's not backstabbing. I haven't found backstabbing. Everybody very supportive.
And I heard that a lot, and especially in other markets, especially the bigger ones like LA and Nashville and New York. It gets pretty far more cutthroat than Burlington.
They
but
make movies and write books about that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I spent a couple summers in New York right out of high school, and it was. I mean, yeah, it's very cutthroat. I mean, I remember I would go down to jam sessions at the bitter end on Bleecker Street, and I would be the worst player in the room. You'd have guys coming off the street that would just blow your socks off, and it's just, it's amazing. It's amazing scenes like that as well.
Well, I'd love to hear another song, guys. Would you like to introduce it and maybe tell me a little bit about it? It's all originals tonight. I'd like to know a little bit of background.
Well, I always think I remember this Paul McCartney quote, and Elvis Costello is like,
they write a lot about peace, love, and happiness, And of course, I realize that all creativity is a result of suppressed neuroses, or so they say. But I guess a lot of the tunes are about relationships, about the wife of 33 years. She's definitely been an inspiration, that last tune.
What'd you do now, Robin?
And, you try to score some points back by writing a song. This next song is... I like writing pretty songs and trying different things. And so we're going to slow it down for this one. This is called The Fading of Winter. So I guess I had, Vermont, of course, and the delayed spring and trying a different sort of bass concept, the way that instead of a standard line, you'll hear the bassist playing more of a vertical line than linear. Anyway, hope you like it. I can hear the wind blowing fast, bending limbs into the water. I can see the river rushing past, nabbing everything life brought her. There's a boat trying to free her lines, grabbing all her hands on shore. There's a boy trying to read the signs in the hopes that he'll find more. I can touch the sun in the snow, in the fading of winter. I can hear the eyes asked to go in its first breaking splinter, warming hands on her coffee cup as she counts the hours alone. And she wonders if love's used up in the sitting by the phone. There's a boy trying to understand all the urges in his heart. There's a girl trying to read the signs, where to end and where to start. I can hear the wind blowing fast, bending limbs into the water. I can see the river rushing past, grabbing everything life brought her. In the fading of winter, in the fading
The Robin Gottfried band there was something a little bit slower. That was it's a lot more soulful than the first one.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you
That
find
was a real compliment.
do you find these kind of cold winters, and one of which it feels like we were dragged out of it kind of it births these kind of soulful songs, or is this something you can come up with in the middle of August?
You know, where do ideas come from? Where do concepts come from? You know, it's an amazing process, and it's a fascinating process, songwriting, and I love it. I wrote this song called Quarantine. I was in Outlook, the email program, and there's a folder called Quarantine there, and it's like, that could be a song. So I wrote a song called Quarantine. So you never know where it comes from. Your life's experiences and influences are all around you. It's just a matter of somehow they come through you, and I love writing songs like that. I also love writing songs like the next one we're going to play, which is totally different.
Well, you say, these influences come from all around you. How has it been with, as a band, as a solo artist for so many years, now with a band, how is having that influence changing your songwriting?
Well, I've always played with bands. I've been a solo songwriter. So generally I'm laying parts down in the studio track by track, and trying to be subjective and objective at the same time. And I do have friends, and Ian comes in to lay drums, and I have Chris Peterman again on sax that comes in to lay tracks down over the years, and other singers sometimes. But I've always played in bands because I love this sound. I would love any keyboard players that sing out there that don't need to make a whole lot of money right now.
Boy, what a shameless.
That would be that would really complement the sound. I write a lot of the songs on the piano. So, but right now, just can't find it.
And how long have you had a home studio for?
I'm sorry?
How long have you had a home studio for?
A long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, we have a lot of bands coming through, and being able to record at home is, for a lot of people, a very new thing.
Yeah.
It's only really become available to a lot of people recently because of how cheap it's become.
Yeah. I have a very understanding wife.
I mean, I've found as a session musician, most people do not have the budget to go into a big studio these days. So in order to keep myself employed more, I found that I had to invest in the gear to be able to record myself at home, and then being able to send files to different people around the country. And that's how a lot of people are doing records now.
A lot of people have small studios now that are doing the same thing. I needed to do it because financially I felt like, it was like buying a house instead of renting. Make the investment. I can work in my own leisure, my own schedule. When Zoe doesn't want me to do something, you have to, it's a partnership. So,
Yeah.
But she's very understanding. And so I write songs for her.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this new album then. I'm assuming you're obviously recording it in your home studio. Yeah. Is there an overarching theme of this album? And how have you found your sound has changed from the earliest albums to this one?
I think it's a very good question. I don't know if there's a real theme. I don't think it's a theme album, other than if you listen to my style of writing, you'll know that it's a Robin, it's Robin-esque. Zoe will listen to the tune, it sounds just like one of yours. And for each song, you try to do the best you can for it. And whatever that dictates. There's one song that I just recorded. Chris Peterman, the sax player, came in to lay tracks just last weekend. And one song I wanted to all of a sudden try a rich string pad, like Sting would have used. And then I found a patch that for a double bass, string bass, to add that bottom rather than just a regular bass. And all it is strings, and a piano, and vocal, and sax, and that's it. So try and do something different. There's another ballad that just had Ian doing just a kick and an egg, or I did the egg actually, but so real minimum, and also string pad. Sometimes you want to try something different, but a lot of times stylistically, I think it's more like the first song we played. That kind of a lot of them tend to be mid-tempo, odd measures, so it's not all even. The phrasing can be a little quirky. Ian sometimes has to, study hard before he comes to the studio to learn the tempo changes, the grooves, because I'm very particular with the way the kick drum and the bass guitar work together to create this kind of funky yet melodic kind of structure. But as far as the album itself, it's it's a Robin album.
Have you found most of your albums have been like that, or was there a period of time where you kind of, went maybe prog for a little bit?
There, in the band I was in, Good Question with Ian's father. That was a band that we were more collaborative on the arrangements. There was another songwriter in the band, so it's like half. If you looked at it, if it was an LP, half of it would have been mine, half of it would have been Bob Young's. So that was a little different. I also did an album with a local female vocalist, Susan Hosmer, and wrote essentially for her with her in mind. So a lot of the songs, actually that last ballad, she sang on that album. So me singing this was different. I had to learn a whole new key. And so that was interesting, also writing with someone else in mind. That happens sometimes. I think, I remember, I think it was Paul McCartney again that said, "Oh, let's write something like the Beach Boys might sing," or maybe it was Elvis Costello. I don't remember. But you get a thought in your mind, and it reminds you of something, a Little Feat groove, and you go from there. And it's just the way a song changes, evolves as you're working on it. It's just it's just incredible. I love watching the process.
Do you feel like you've got like a cache of songs already there and ready, or
Yes, sir.
Is there a lot of them that have just ended up on the cutting room floor over the years? Or have you predominantly used most of the things that you've created?
No, we for this band, tried to do more upbeat. We are playing clubs predominantly. So I tried to do more of the funky, more of the upbeat, stick a ballad in the middle of the set, set, and start with that premise.
But the nice is there's a lot of songs to choose from.
There are a lot of songs to choose from. When it's time to learn a new song, I'll send out, okay, here's some, you guys tell me which ones you feel like you'd like to do.
Do you ever find yourself retooling songs from your early days, from when you were 20 and
absolutely
30?
And I love it when we get together to rehearse and these guys come in with ideas like, why do we try it this way? And I say, yeah, great. And that's one of the disadvantages of working alone. Sometimes you miss it. You miss something that would have been very cool. But that's why I love working with a band. It's just brings it to another level.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear another song. So this one's going to be a little bit different. So I'm looking forward to hearing it.
So this one is also had Zoe in mind. We were down in the village, in the West Village one day in New York. And I was just hanging outside, enjoying the sun. And they were in the bodega, the little grocery store on the corner. And Zoe was with another friend crossing the street towards me. And it's just like, it was a warm feeling, So this is called Here She Comes. What's interesting, though, on the album, it was perfect. I had her come into the studio, and in the second verse is a line that goes, here, or maybe it's the first verse, "Here she comes to kiss my cheek." And in the studio, she came in right there and said, "Hi, darling." Mwah! And it was like, it was timed just perfectly. You can hear it on the track, but of course, can't do it here. So this is called Here She Comes.
1, 2, 3.
Here she comes across the street and meet me at the grocery store. Suddenly the world becomes unimportant anymore. Here she comes to kiss my cheek. No one else is on the block. She wants to know just how I am, but my tongue is under key and lock. I'm gonna love her. I'm gonna love her. Here she comes and take my arm, and everything else fades away.
Here She Comes by the Robin Gottfried Band. So as you guys are such veterans around the Burlington area, tell me a little bit about your live gigging. Which are the places that you really like? You mentioned that you used to play at Nexus quite a lot. What are the places that have kind of risen and fallen throughout the years for you guys?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, this is still, even though the Robin Gottfried Band has been together for close to 3 years now, right? Primarily, I mean, the concert series and the festivals is really where I think we should be, would like to be. And when we played the Waterbury concert series last year, was that we had like several hundred people there, and it was great, and that felt good. Red Square has its moments. Nathaniel there has been really gracious and welcoming for what was a relatively unknown band, and we've been there, and we're going back. We'll be there July something or other. I'll let you know. And so that's great. Nectar's has been we haven't gone in there yet. So it's been essentially clubs within an hour's radius. There are certain clubs that people come to listen, and that's good because I think whereas Ian likes to say we're a musician's musician band, you know, it's stuff that is you don't hear all the time. My guitar playing was influenced by, the likes of Larry Carlton and Robin Ford, the Steely Danish kind of thing. So I'm not just doing pentatonic stuff. And the songs are, I think they're danceable, but then again, child from, 60s, 70s where you dance to everything and anything, So I'm not a dancer anyway, as my wife likes to say. Very frustrating for her, but I tried, but it doesn't come out that way. So I'm just trying to take things step by step to make the band more popular, to make the band better. I know one thing, we're getting tighter. I'm so proud that no matter where we are, even we're just playing for tables and chairs, this band is really consistent and continues to sound good regardless. And I think it's because we love the music, and I don't know if we love each other, but I think we respect and really like each other, and that's important. I think that comes across, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That sincerity. That's the important thing, I think.
Well, I think you really need to have that chemistry, otherwise the band can't go very far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've known Robin since I was 7 years old. I mean, and that's not an exaggeration. We have been close since I was very, very young. So when I came into it, it was very second nature. I didn't, he gave me a list of tunes. 75% of them. Oh, I've played this before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely there's a chemistry. I feel very comfortable with Robin. We've worked together a lot. Whether it be me sitting in somewhere with one of his bands and he forgets I'm there, or
it's true. I turn Ian was sub and I turn around and it's Ian. And John is just a consummate professional. He knows which tunes to learn. He comes prepared. The vocal harmonies are learned. It makes my job so easy. It's a pleasure to work with these guys.
Do you being such dedicated musicians, do you find yourself practicing together a lot, or is it kind of a case of very little?
We prepare, so we'll learn 2 or 3 songs for a practice. When we decide it's time to learn some new songs, whether it's originals or maybe a cover. We still do some covers, but only our favorites. We do several Steely Dans, we do a couple of Little Feat, we do Delbert McClinton, here and there. Some of my favorite covers, and it's so we come prepared, and consequently, we don't have to really rehearse that much.
Do you have what makes a song become a favorite cover for you guys? Because you're doing covers for many years, so to still have a few, I feel like there must be a certain kind of similar vein running through them.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and it frustrates not only my wife but a lot of my friends, whether they're musicians or not. I've become very selective. I've been very selective for a long time. My ears just want to hear something. They want to hear harmony. They want to hear a beautiful melody. They want to hear lyrics that work with the notes, that work with the chords, that work with the groove. And there are certain artists that have done that for me over the years. It started with even Paul Simon. His writing and the Beatles and Joni Mitchell. I mean, God, the band, Sting, Bruce Hornsby, even the Grateful Dead had a major influence on me at one time. It was not easy not playing like Jerry Garcia. Thank you, Larry Carlton, for getting me out of that.
Especially
Steely
around
Dan,
Burlington.
Royal Scam album. I'm sorry?
I said especially around Burlington.
I'm actually, some friends invited me to do a Grateful Dead thing up in Jay. What's it called? August West, is it called? I forget. August West. So I got to get all my Jerry licks. John Mayer's playing. With
Oh,
those
really?
guys? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So artists like that are, Little Feat. Oh, God, the phrasing, and just the way they all work. And the grooves, the groove and the way the bass and the kick drum work, it's just all fascinating for me. And those are the things I want to hear. So it's very hard for me to like the 3-chord songs. Though there are some that are absolutely gorgeous. Like just off the top of my head, you familiar with Vince Gill, Whenever You Come Around?
I can't say I am. I should look him up, though.
Face of an angel, pretty eyes that shine. And the chorus is, I get weak in the knees and I lose my breath. Oh, I try to speak, but the words won't come. I'm so scared to death. When you smile, that smile, the world comes upside down. Whenever you come around, right? Whenever you smile, that smile, the world comes upside down. Whenever you come around, I get weak in the knees and I lose my breath. I could never write lyrics like that, but it's gorgeous. And so, yeah. I don't know.
I love that Ian was
Ian
step right there ahead of you.
That was part of the wedding band repertoire, so he knows it. He knows it all.
And that was so nice too, because when it came time for me to sub, they didn't have to do anything. I just came in and played.
Okay.
And that was what was so nice when Robin asked me to do this. He said, I remember towards the later days of the wedding band, and I distinctly remember going up to Robin and I said, I know the band's not gigging that much. It's kind of getting to the end. Have you thought about doing something? And he said, perhaps. And then I was lucky enough to get the call to do it with him, and it's been a blast. A lot of songs that he's written, like you said, 9 albums.
And we do some off the one of the first albums. There were some good tunes on it. That even a Latin tune that we incorporated into the set list.
Yeah.
My white boy semblance.
Right.
But I grew up in Washington Heights,
Right.
so I heard it a lot.
Certainly must have got some influence.
Yeah.
Well, we've only got time for about one more song, but I'd love to know where you're gigging, and if you want to plug anything, band related or personally related, please go ahead.
We would, if you enjoyed hearing the band, please spread the word. Put it on your social media. It's difficult to get people to come out, but put the good word in. Vote for us on the 7 days contest so we can play Grand Points North. We're just trying to get greater notoriety. I think Jim was talking to these people before about how do you get the word out there, and how do you do all that stuff with no budget.
Right. Well, you
That
you come into big heavy world.
yeah. And we're very grateful for you guys having us. This has been an absolute pleasure. I should have done it years ago, but I didn't really have the vehicle. So.
Well, you've been fantastic, and you guys are very good musicians.
Thank
It's
you. Hopefully you'll have us back.
oh please.
Oh, right. Thank you. So, all right. So we'll be at Red Square.
He doesn't know.
July. It's a Sunday. So we've been playing usually Wednesday or Thursday. So we're getting closer to a weekend night.
Right.
Nathaniel is letting us get closer and closer to a weekend night where we don't have to work the next morning. So Sunday, July 7th from 7 to 11. It's not past your bedtime. Come for the first set. And we'll be next in the area is On Tap in Essex on July 20th from 5 to 8. And be out in Jericho August 9th. But you can go to the site of the Robin Gottfried Band. We expect to see you at a gig, Tom.
I'll be there, especially Red Square. I mean, if it's a nice evening and there's a good
Outside,
band
yeah.
playing
Hopefully,
outside at Red
Be
Square,
outside, yeah. It's a
sitting on
blast,
Church
yeah.
Street with a nice cold beer, you can't beat
Absolutely.
it.
And Nathaniel does a great job with the sound.
Yeah.
He's a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, just support live music. If you do, you'll probably see me somewhere.
Well, in one of your, how many bands did you say you work with?
7.
7 bands.
Somewhere in that neighborhood,
Might be a little bloody. We can try it, I guess.
Which one?
Try Walk Hard?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, seeing as that's off the next record.
I guess. We'll try it, I guess.
And please come in when the next record drops. Let us know and come in,
Absolutely.
and we'll promote that as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, no worries.
So this is a song that we just learned a couple of weeks ago, so it may be slightly bloody. Off the new album.
What's it about, Rob?
This is called Wild Card. This is just a lark. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I remember the lyrics.
1, 2, 3.
I'm a man who struggles with the world, drifting on currents and blowing with the wind, going with whatever way my head got turned, trying to remember all my lessons learned. I'm a man who's struggling with time. I'm here at my crossroads without any signs of passions and fashions that push me along. Nothing to tell me what's right or wrong. There's a woman who wants to throw me in the water, try to wash away every one of my sins. There's a woman who wants to throw me in the water. Sometimes a wild card like me can win. I'm a man who thought it would never be that you come along as I was giving it up. After all the wrong turns and tempting delights, you brighten all my days and fill up all my nights. There's a woman who wants to throw me in the water, trying to wash away every one of my sins. There's a woman who wants to throw me in the water. Sometimes a wild card like me can win. A woman wants to throw me in the water, try to wash away every one of my sins. There's a woman wants to throw me in the water. Some kind of wild card like me can win. There's a woman wants to throw me in the water, trying to wash away every one of my sins. There's a woman wants to throw me in the water. Sometimes a wild card like me can win.
All right, Wild Card by the Robert Gottfried Band. Thank you guys so much for coming in. It's
Thank
been a
you,
real
Tom.
pleasure.
Cheers, mate.
No worries, anytime. Check us out next week. We got Bishop Lavey coming in. So that's going to be a good show. And then also Thomas Gunn will be making an appearance. So check us out next Wednesday, same time, same place, 8 o'clock, 105.9. I've been your host, Tom Proctor, for this evening. Good night.